reinstituting German in the high school. It was a very successful program in the past, and we start with William Keynes.
I was going to speak in German, but it's been so long since I've done it, I'd be silly. I fortunately lived in Germany for 3 years. I would love to see a lot of programs reinstated. I would love to see the 6 electives that we had to cut reinstated. It's all budget. It's all driven by the money. And it's all driven also by interest in it. I don't know what the interest is in the German. I was trying to get Latin for my daughter. So yes, I'd love to see the German program reinstated. I'd love to see every elective that we've had to cut reinstated.
We've been very supportive of the program of languages other than English. We have traditionally always had several options, and in recent years we've added to those options. Since I've been on the board, Latin has been reinstituted in the school district and has become wildly successful with now 2 teachers teaching Latin. We now, through a very creative arrangement with China, have a visiting teacher who is teaching Mandarin Chinese to our students at no cost to the district whatsoever. And so so we're very supportive of the language program. But as has been mentioned by the previous speaker, students with these kinds of programs often vote with their feet. And the German program in particular was declining in numbers, severely declining in numbers, to the point where it became prohibitively expensive to offer. I'm in favor of a wide variety of choices, but that doesn't necessarily mean every choice. And so I would not bring the German program back unless there was a good, solid reason to do so.
Would I bring the German program back? I don't know. My daughter took German for 2 years when it was here. Enjoyed it very much. At the end of the day, you can't offer too many programs. We're a small school district. We can afford to offer foreign language, but we can't afford to offer 12 programs. So we've got to pick and choose which ones we can most efficiently offer, because it's not productive to offer a foreign language and then 3 or 4 years downstream have 6 kids in the class. That's a poor use of school resources. So we need to pick and choose. Right now we've got this wonderful Chinese program that is not a cost to the district. When that is over with, I think the choice needs to be made of whether we continue that program at cost or whether we drop it. And at that point, it would make sense to consider what languages we have, whether we rather have German instead of Latin or something else like that.
Well, you know, I guess what I would say with any program that has left the district, and Dan brought up Latin, you know, we brought back Latin very successfully. There actually very similar rationale for why we had dropped Latin, that had sort of fallen out of favor. And we were intent on bringing Latin back not because of being a foreign language, but because of what it did to help in SAT scores and your future in having took 4 or 5 years of Latin. And having had 5 kids now take the Latin program, I can tell you that it is very beneficial. And it would be one of the last things that I would certainly as a board member like to see cut. But as for any program, it really, you know, this things ebb and flow. You know, we unfortunately had to cut a couple of modified sports in this budget year, but that doesn't mean they're gone forever. It just means that we couldn't afford them now. You know, if you go back a few years, we had no modified sports, and then we added some, and then we took some away. So, you know, I would be in favor of adding German back if at some time somebody said, look, this is educationally a good idea to do, and we have the money to do it.
I think the root of this question points to the fact that we need to find balance, and I think that the administration and the board has been very cautious in making the cuts. I know our high school administrators look very carefully at students and where they are in their course of study to make sure that they're meeting all the requirements they are for each of their sequences. And we always recognize that when we cut a program, it's negatively impacting someone. And the decisions are made carefully so that they're impacting as few students as possible. As the other candidates have said, I would certainly add German back if there was a calling for it, and if we had the funding, it would be ideal. But when it comes to the tough decisions, we have to look at what cuts are going to be made that will impact the fewest, and unfortunately, that was German.